Hello? Alright. Alright, it's been a while since I've been live. 2 months, I think. I think. Let's see. Invite. Uh. So, you are live. Yes, I am live, Scott. I figured I would go live because. Well, because I haven't gone a while in a while. Live in a while, so. You know. Lonely. I'm so lonely. Let's see. Yep. Do you want a link, Scott? I don't know. Where the fuck am I supposed to send it? I don't want to put it. I don't want to, put it live or put it outside. Might as well invite a few people. Let's see. Keep singing like that, and you may stay lonely. Wow. Fuck you, Scott. Let's see. Let's see. What, mate? Yes, Icarus. Oh my God, it's Danny. Who invited you?
I don't know. I got a weird link from a shady website on Bulgaria.
What's up, you fucker?
Nothing. I just ate.
What did you eat, cock? Wait, sorry, that was
I ate sausage.
close enough.
Oh well, salami, really.
Yeah, sausage, salami, same thing. You put something in your mouth.
Yeah.
So this doesn't really have a topic. I just Immutable said, "Why don't you go live?" I'm like, fine, fuck it, I'll go live.
Yeah.
I invited a few people.
You invited all your
Peter,
friends.
everybody, yes, Peter, Kat, uh, Immutable Destiny.
Oh, I see. And I did see the song that I posted. Yeah, that you posted.
You posted your song. There's the song that you posted that I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, he posted a song. Like he wanted some kind of theme song. I don't know, like similar to like what they do with Cotangelo.
Yep. Let's see. I wonder if I should. Actually, no, I can't invite Smokey. I invited Peter.
Do I hate you? Why would I hate you?
Because
I know you're part of like that in group, so it's like to be expected. It's not like something out of your character.
everybody's part of that in group.
No, that's not true. There are people pushing back on Speed. Icarus
Yeah.
kind of like goes well along with what Speed thinks. But anyways, well, no one else has taken the link.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Scott might come in.
Yeah. Where's the link though? Well, Scott, what is your? I don't know your email.
Why don't you just post a link to
Because
chat?
no.
I don't see why you wouldn't do that.
Because I don't want you coming in. Oh wait. You're already in here.
Did I get a Facebook message? Oh,
Everybody gets a Facebook message.
I heard a big beep.
Look up a few lines. Okay, let me see. I don't see it. Let me go on YouTube. Maybe if I go on YouTube.
Oh, you should just throw the link out there.
No,
That seems like that's practically irrational.
you're irrational.
Well, that's different than being practically irrational.
Hang on a sec. Okay, let me see. Yeah, Scott, I don't see your email. I don't see it. Did you post it? Because I don't see your email. Fancy. Let's see. Okay, I wonder if I should invite Speed.
Oh, definitely.
Nah, he hates you. I don't think he wants to be anywhere near you.
If he wants to come in, I'll leave.
Hmm. What are we talking about again?
Really, nothing specifically.
Scott, I literally don't see it. It's not showing up in YouTube. You know what? There, come in very quick. Scott. Scott. I'm waiting for you to come on so I can delete the link. There we go. Hang on. There we go.
There we go.
For some fucking reason, I couldn't see your email. It was never showing up.
This must be filtering it.
Yes. So, Scott, how was the weather report?
It was fine. We had Erica on there for the last part of it, so there was a lot of good talking. You're
Erica's
right.
always-
The thing got filtered out. Wow. I didn't know it would do that.
I was like, Scott, what's your email? Check out, check it out. I mean, I'm blind, but I'm not that fucking blind.
Even even looking at it from my perspective in YouTube, it's not there. Wow. Okay. Learn something every day. Let's see. Yeah, it's okay. It's just your typical stuff.
Hey, Scott.
How's it going, Danny? How are your studies? You're still in your master's program, aren't you?
Yeah. I've started a lot of. This is when a lot of my work starts to pile on. Because I only have to read in the beginning part, and then now I have to complete some papers, write some papers.
Do you have like a big paper for each class that you have to
Yeah,
write?
I only have to write one. I mean, I only get one grade for the entire class, and that's my term paper.
Do y'all have to like wear togas and go to the student center and argue about something in
I've
public?
done that before, except without the toga. But I find that people on YouTube are usually better at that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I've probably learned in terms of discourse, with the exception of my professors, right? But like my what do you call it? Not class, my peers, my colleagues, I guess. They're usually not as good as like at the dialectic compared to people here on YouTube.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of platform for it. So I guess if you spend a lot of time actually doing it, then
Yeah,
it'll make
exactly.
a difference. Yeah, because I can't discourse very well, and it's obviously because I haven't spent a lot of time doing it.
Yeah, but you're better than a lot of these people.
Well,
Like
that's good
if
to
you and
hear.
I had a conversation about like free will, I probably could like have a better conversation with you than a lot of these grad students, or
People
especially
get
undergrad.
that overlaps so much with people's religious beliefs. It's so hard not to be motivated. And
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
it psychologically deals with a lot of topics that, ego. Am I a self-driven person in America? Aren't I supposed to be able to pull myself up by my bootstraps? Therefore, I must have free will because this other guy, he's not doing as well as me, and or whatever. So it gets really personal.
Oh, with the free will issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why people are intensely dedicated to it for various reasons.
You're fine with saying you have no free will?
If we have no free will, I'm gonna have to deal with it. We just have to figure out if it's true or not.
Well, it seems
have
like
free will. Of course, either way, I still have to make what we experience as good decisions. So.
Right, which I mean, like, I feel like if there's no free will, then it's not true that people are raped, and it's not true that like consent.
That's.
I see. I have no free
what you
will.
mean. That's
I have
why...
no free will, so that's why I removed you. Sorry, I was just fucking around.
But yeah, that's a big problem. I haven't even thought about it in terms of if you can be raped or not.
I mean, I guess like that might count as a religious belief in the sense that I'm not gonna let go of the idea that some people are taken advantage of and raped and stuff like that. And go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Right, but just because somebody is raped, doesn't mean they don't, doesn't mean they don't have free will. It just means the rapist overpowered them. The rapist used their free will to, to overpower them and not give them a choice.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is like, if you think if there's voluntary and involuntary action, isn't that just affirm that like there's free will in some sense, right? Now
in some sense, and I think everybody's formulation of free will may start off with libertarian, or it may start off with pure determinism, but those kinds of test cases will cause people to adjust it. And I think every view of free will that people are going to ultimately accept is going to have to be adjusted.
I mean, if there is no free will, then no one's really accountable for their actions, are there? And then society crumbles.
Yeah, a lot of people think that.
Well, I mean, isn't it? Isn't that? Isn't that an implication of that? Like, we go around acting like free will exists. So people can be held accountable for their actions. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I think that though for me the problem is deeper. I kind of agree with Immanuel Kant. he thought that what it means to be an agent is kind of like to be this kind of thing that is free. And so if you are not free, it just seems like you're just something like a rock, like, or I don't know, water down a stream. You're not really making decisions.
Oh, hey, Leo Phileas is here. Is Danny a monotheist? If so, is Danny a Christian? And if he is a Christian, is he an Armenian? What? But Leo, I'll send you a link, you asshole.
Yeah, I agree with Holy Spackle. I think you can be a compatibilist and preserve all these notions of accountability and agency. Absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of preserved automatically because of preserving free will, right?
Yeah. Some people think that it's incoherent, though. Like the incompatibilist obviously does, but they're going to say it doesn't even make sense to say that I'm free and determined.
Leo, I sent you a link. I'm also arms, legs, and a head and a torso.
So that's interesting.
I really wish I had to allow 10 people in here, but I don't stream enough to to have that.
To justify the
Yeah,
expense.
to justify the expense.
If you ever want to use my StreamYard, just let me know. Because I can have 10 people. And 1080p.
Nice, going Hulk
Leo's
quality on
here.
this.
Hey, Leo Phileas.
Hey,
who invited
what's
you?
going on?
I didn't invite you. Just kidding. I did. How you doing?
Hey, buddy.
The fuck?
Oh my god.
We can't hear you. He must be muted.
I said, "Hi, buddy, how's it going?" Yeah, no, I just wanted to say to Midnight, I'm not like an asshole. I have one, but I'm also like arms, legs, a head, torso, eyeballs, a mouth, tongue, stomach,
you-
heart,
No,
liver, kidneys, a
See,
brain.
you're, hold on. You're an asshole because that's what forms first.
Oh,
When you're
Leo.
bored.
Yeah, we are deuterostomes.
We are.
Leo, I'm talking
What's up?
to that Eat, Pray, Love guy. What's his name? Just Pray NYC.
Oh, yeah.
And on Sunday.
Well, dude, the title of the video that I saw them post about their discussion with you is just not aptly named. It says, Danny says God is a failure. That's not what you were saying. Like, the fact that they put that in there tells me that, well, either A, that they didn't understand your argument, or B, they did and are just being dishonest. But quite frankly, I think it's the former. Because I understood what
That
you were
was
saying.
not. You're right. That was not my argument, but I didn't really care because I think that has to be true too. Because,
I mean, yes.
but I never argued. I'm fine with saying it's not God's fault or all that. But it just seems like if you have those omni properties, it is God's fault.
Mhm. I mean, yeah, isn't God ultimately then? Wouldn't he? And maybe this isn't true, Danny, but if God really has all those omni properties, isn't he technically responsible for literally anything and everything that happens?
Yeah. So
especially if he's necessary.
Right, but there's an open question. You can be responsible and be either blameworthy or praiseworthy, or or neither. Right.
Yeah.
So well, actually.
I would say he's blameworthy for the reason that God can actualize any logical state of affairs that he so desires to do.
Right.
That he desires to actualize.
So I guess it gets complicated. I have to think about it, but I think
what part of philosophy doesn't get complicated?
That's
a rhetorical question.
I'm trying to. What is the least complicated branch of philosophy?
Honestly, if I had to guess, I would. And this is just me, so I mean, take it for what it's worth. But I feel like I would say something like epistemology, where
that's so
there might be
Really?
disagreements. There might be disagreements, but I don't think the field is super hard to understand.
No,
like it
I
is
think
with
it
a
gets
lot of
complicated.
Part of philosophy is bachelor's and unmarried man.
I suppose maybe
often.
mathematical logic, but that's not just philosophy.
Scott, are you always triggered by the chairs and the tables and the bachelors and all of that?
The bachelor is a married man. It literally makes me want to poke a
Why?
fork
It's
in
such
my
a good
eyeball.
example, though.
It's
I'm trying to
so.
what.
Good
Okay,
example.
Scott, give me a better example, and I'll start using that from now on. Let's go.
I'll think about it because that's an important responsibility.
Yeah, I know it really is, right?
Scott, that's
Think
an
about
important
doing
response.
find and replace in all the texts in all the world that use bachelor is an
This is your task, Scott.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to think. The only other one that I use that is similar is like a triangle is a shape or a three-sided shape, but then apparently
polygon?
that can be false. And so I stopped using
A
that.
triangle
example.
being a polygon can be false.
No, a triangle being something that
shape.
has three sides.
Oh yeah,
Well,
that can
I
be
mean,
false.
So a trigon is what you're saying.
No,
Look,
it's
Leo,
a triangle
this is
that's
exactly
not.
why I use the damn example because of people like you.
No,
What are you
it's
talk- what?
it's just a triangle whose interior angles are allowed to have that are allowed to sum outside of like that
180
don't sum to
degrees.
180.
Yeah, I would
So
still
they-
think it would have probably 3 sides.
There's something that someone told me apparently in some kind of weird. You know how like when you say 2 and 2 make 4, and they're like, well, in base 10, you do, and they start doing all this like I just hate all. So I try to look for examples where
Well,
people do that shit.
it's true in like everything after mod 3.
You see, that's exactly why I don't use those examples. So apparently that happened to me with triangle, and I will never go back to triangle ever again. So
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, if you just say, look, I'm just dealing with what triangles are in Euclidean geometry. If you're taking it beyond that, then you purposefully ignoring
yeah,
my
but you know
hypothetical.
how often I had to say that shit. Like so I gave up. I went back to bachelor.
And
I would just be
I
like,
think-
quit being a smartass.
No, I think the point of that though, and the reason abstract algebra exists, unfortunately, is that you have to be like really, really fucking rigorous with how terms are defined.
Yeah, no, that's
Because-
all of math.
Well, because if you're not like, things like addition are complicated as well because like
You see,
the
Scott,
notion
why
of
I
integers.
stick with bachelor.
Yeah,
these
like the
people saying
notion-
addition's complicated.
I mean, it's great as long as it's defined within a set.
Okay.
But if you don't have a set, then it doesn't make sense to add things because you
Okay.
don't necessarily
Much
ensure
math.
closure.
Much math doesn't make sense without sets unless you're dealing with strictly integers
Tell
and not
Danny
any
one
operations
word.
between them.
Tell Danny one word can stop being rape or not. It's enthusiastic yes. If not enthusiastic yes, then it's rape, free
What?
will or not.
I'm a little lost.
Technically speaking, Leo, like the integers are the second least complicated type of algebraic structure you can imagine. The first one is the natural numbers.
Mhm.
Because the natural numbers do not have 0, whereas the integers do.
Leo,
Which
what
is
have you been
fucked up.
working on?
Right now, I'm actually working on. I've only watched like part of it, but I need to go back and watch more of it. The whole thing. I'm just gonna watch it all over again. A video that William Lane Craig did on God, time, and relativity, because the poll that I did on my channel, on my first community post, was a poll, and that's the video that people want to see. That's the one that got
Oh,
the
you got
most
community
votes.
access too?
Yep, they dropped it down to 500 subs.
Oh, that's why.
Do you
because
watch
I could use
Leo,
it
do you
too.
watch PBS Space?
PBS
Wait,
space
hold
time.
on. Wait, hold on. What? Were you talking?
space time.
I'm so confused. Can you?
Okay, let me repeat. Do you watch the channel PBS Space?
It's
PBS
PBS
space time.
space time.
Occasionally, yeah.
I saw a video a while ago. I saw a video called what was it? Like the Constructor Theory.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know
actually-
anything about that.
Yeah, the idea is I saw a podcast on this with the Sean Carroll host called Mindscape. The idea essentially is they want to try and reframe physics into essentially into what kinds of like things in the universe can and cannot happen.
Oh,
construct
that's
physics
the
that way.
name they give to that idea that I think is kind of really a little bit stupid. Okay.
I thought
shouldn't-
that too, but then I thought it's
Stupid's
like
too hard of a word. That's too hard of a word. A little silly, maybe.
a little silly. I mean, it's like it's a good idea, but it's like that might be tricky.
I almost feel like the whole third way thing with evolution, where like, I mean, it's not like it's bunk, stupid, dumb pseudoscience, but it's just kind of superfluous to me, I guess would be the word I would use.
Now,
Like,
third
why
wave evolution
go
is-
through all this trouble to redefine and remake a whole field when we already kind of understand it just as well already?
so
like,
third
your
wave
only room-
evolution- blah,
What's
blah,
up?
blah. I said, so third wave evolution, is that the stuff that Dr. Dan says is stupid because we've already
Yes,
done it and covered it? Okay.
essentially, yeah. And it's just the way that I hopefully I'm properly remembering it. But when I was looking at constructor theory, I'm just like, yeah, I mean, like this solves like maybe one or two technicalities and just like leaves the rest of them. Like this isn't like a better framework for physics, really. Just like third way isn't really a better framework for evolutionary biology. It just, yeah, sure, it might help clear up like a couple of technicalities, but that's it. It doesn't do much beyond that.
I'm not sure if its purpose is to make it better as much as it is to kind of like rigidify the theory more, to kind of rule out from the get-go like conjectures that might be like conceptually flawed. Like if we know that there's specific transformations or certain kind of like parities that can't be violated in the universe, for instance, right? Then don't create systems that have the potential to do that type of thing,
I think that was,
or to break that
yeah,
type of symmetry.
I think that was one of the issues because I don't really think that there's any rigorous way to show that like particular types of transformations or symmetries may or may not be broken simply because there could always be something we haven't yet observed that breaks it.
Yeah, and that's also my theory. That's also my concern with it too, is like imposing that kind of demand on like what types of models we try to develop, especially in things regarding like with dark matter theories and stuff that we're still not sure on. We don't know how those things fully work yet. So, trying to impose like a law that seems like it would make sense might actually be the wrong course of action, because for all we know, this could be, the thing that tears that to shreds.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother.
I mean, even in gauge field theory, which deals with
sorry, I'm just-
transformations, all of like that's all gauge theory is algebraic, or I guess you could even say geometric transformations, but they're only ever local. You don't find global group transformations. You find local group transformations. Most of physics deals with local transformations, and I think that's partly because of the tentativeness of physics, even the math that it's based on.
Yeah, I mean, relativity kind of prevents you from doing it globally, doesn't it?
Yeah, in a sense. And that's one of the things, is that it's hard to speak of things globally in physics, at least in a relativistic sense, because, well, you really just don't know. I mean,
well, you would need you would need like some kind of
some
absolute
preferred
reference frame to do it.
Yeah.
And that would strongly.
Did you get my book,
What's that?
by the way?
Your what?
The book I sent you, the Metaphysics of Knowledge. I thought you would.
You sent me that? Where? On what?
Discord.
Where? What? Oh, yeah, no. I completely shut my Discord notifications off on my phone because I'm tired of getting them. I'm tired of getting 15 every second, every minute of the fucking day. So I'll check that.
This is why I set the notification setting to my Discord is off.
I'm gonna be honest, Danny. Like, I don't know how often you're on Facebook or Twitter, but sending me a message on there would probably, if you're trying to like immediately get a hold of me, those are going to be way better.
Okay, I'll do that. But I haven't read that book, but I came across that.
What did you say it was called?
The Metaphysics of Knowledge. So it combines epistemology, metaphysics. You might like it.
Ooh.
That's kind of.
That sounds like something you can read and maybe get a little bit of a chub.
Yeah, I don't think.
Look, I'm sorry. If you've never read a book on like physics or science or philosophy and you haven't gotten a little bit of a chub, dude, you're doing it wrong. I'm sorry, but you are. Like, you're doing it wrong. If you haven't been like, oh God, man, this is just juicy, sexy, and I could fuck people up with this knowledge, then yeah, you're doing it wrong.
I guess I'm not an intellectual.
No, you're not an intellectual if you've never gotten a boner from reading a book.
Thinking, can we put a bracket around this and go back to the thing that ticks me off worse than anything, and that is the statement bachelor is an unmarried man.
Okay, so did
But
you
it's
come up
true
with a
though.
rule?
Why is that? Why does that trigger you so
I
hardly?
don't know. I think I would need at least 2 years of therapy at least once a week, I think, to figure that out. I don't know. It just does. It's like, don't say that again.
Are you a bachelor, Scott? Is that
Well,
what it
that's
is?
that is the question I want to ask.
Well, Scott, are you married?
I am not.
Then
There
you're
you
a
go.
bachelor.
That's
Then
why,
you're a
that's
bachelor.
why it pisses
But
you
I
off.
once
So the best way
was.
to define it is that the sound that a human makes when they say what we call the word bachelor refers to exactly the same thing as the sound that humans make when they say the words unmarried man. Those should not be seen as being different. Two different sounds that mean exactly the same thing.
Well, that sounds pretentious.
That's they're synonymous.
Well, they're more than synonymous; they're identical.
equivalent.
Synonymous does not mean synonymous does not mean identical.
But I had a person once tell me that since I was married and then divorced, that I am not a bachelor.
Stoned from hitting pipes filled with weed.
Are you
I have
stoned
idea
now?
what
No,
Leo
hold
said.
on. Dapper Dino posted he made a post on Twitter. He's like, it's great that somebody's using a grinder so early in the morning right outside my door. And I
Oh.
commented and I said, I use a grinder for my weed, but it isn't loud. The grinder, I mean. The weed
Yeah.
is loud as fuck. Oh, I cracked myself up. I'm
But
sorry.
my question is that true? Is a divorced person not considered a bachelor?
Oh, no, of course they are. They're not married.
Okay.
Being a bachelor depends on nothing more, at least as far as I understand, other than your marital status. If you are not married, definitionally you are like it doesn't matter whether you agree. You're a bachelor.
So does everybody in the panel agree?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for Danny to go no.
Well,
Yeah.
there is like connotations that, but yeah,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay, we have anybody in the side chat listening still? Do they want to say yay or nay to that? That it's just being unmarried, not like, I guess what we call not reverse married. Not
Divorced.
well. You know how
Unmarried.
you undo something.
That's what reverse married is. It's called divorce.
Okay. But see, that would put
Wow.
that would put a wrench in the idea that
Soccer
a
counts in my
bachelor is an
chat.
unmarried man.
Sokka.
Oh, Sokka comes in here.
Yeah,
Nice.
dude, I haven't seen Sokka in ages.
God, he's been fucking busy, I guess.
Who knows?
But anyway, I'm just wondering about that. So,
Yeah.
hey, other things that have been bothering me lately. Danny, I sent you that list of propositions that Richard Carrier did in that one blog entry.
you did. Oh, yeah, I never read it. Sorry.
Well, that's okay.
Dan-
That's okay. But this whole thing, I've read the blog article a couple of times, maybe 3, and I've put out the propositions all in one page. But it sounds like a good argument, but I don't know why more people don't use it. And it's basically, let me go to really what is his conclusion, I think. Let's see.
Danny, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Do you think it's necessarily true that a bachelor is an unmarried man?
Ooh.
Well, it depends on
yeah.
how bachelor's defined, but yes.
So what if there was a possible world? Do you think it's impossible for there to be a possible world in which a bachelor is defined as something other than an unmarried man? And thus it would be
God, I
true
hate
that a
you.
bachelor is not a married man
Well, hang
or an
on.
unmarried man?
Saka says a bachelor sometimes may be defined as a male eligible for marriage. In a culture where a divorcee may not be remarried, they may not be a bachelor. But that overcomplicates it, in my opinion,
Mhm.
humble opinion.
Well, I think that there's something. There's a difference between how a term is being used versus like what the concept that we have.
Yeah, connotation versus denotation. So what if there was a possible world in which the denotation of bachelor was not an unmarried man?
Yeah, then it just
Is-
wouldn't be
is that
necessarily
possible?
true, because I think all I mean by
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't it be not something that's because couldn't we conceive of a possible world where the denotation of bachelor it does not refer to an unmarried man, or
Are
is
you-
that impossible? Like,
are you talking about the term?
yeah,
Like how the term is
the
used?
denotation of the term bachelor.
Yeah, but if you understand,
Hashtag the definition of bachelor.
once again, like if you understand the two separate issues, the concept that is being talked about versus the way the terms are being used, I think those are two different questions, right?
Yeah, but what if there was a world in which the concept of a bachelor was not an unmarried man?
Yeah, but if it's necessarily true, then there is no. You're talking about an a possible world, right? A world that doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't seem impossible for there to be a possible world where the concept of a bachelor is something other than an unmarried man.
Well, that just seems.
No, this is something I'm actually being genuine and asking these questions because this is something I think about. Like, how is it necessarily true if I can conceive of a world where that word has never ever meant the thing that we currently
But
say
we're not
that it
talking
is?
about words.
Well, we are.
We're talking about
Bachelor
concepts.
We're talking about
But
concepts.
what do words represent concepts? So when we talk about a word, generally we're talking about the concept
Not
that the word
oh, that can
represents.
be true, but sometimes we use words to refer, use words to name things too, and those aren't concepts, right? So there's a difference. So Joe Biden or the person that has a yellow shirt in Midnight Sparkle Stream, those are definite names and definite descriptions, and they're being used to refer to a thing in the world, not a concept.
Oh, I think I might get what you're saying. So it's like saying if somebody's wearing a yellow shirt, the shirt is like, if the shirt is a yellow shirt, then it's necessarily a yellow shirt. And then I'm saying something like, yeah, but what if we could conceive of a world where the shirt wasn't yellow? Then then it seems that you're saying, well, then obviously it wouldn't be, but then we'd be talking about a different concept. Is that sort of what you're getting at? That we would just be talking. Yeah, like that we would just be talking about a different concept if we mean bachelor to be something other than an unmarried man.
Yeah, well, what I was saying just now was the difference between naming and I guess the meaning of a term, like the meaning of the term, or the meaning of this proposition, like the president of the United States is bald, right? Or or rather, I should say the meaning of a definite description, the person in the White House that is the United States president, that. The meaning is one question. What it names is a different question.
Okay.
You see? Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, I think I'm following. Yeah.
Okay. So that's to say we can use words.
No. So I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Leo, you high? Genuine question.
No, not yet.
Not yet. I'm just saying. That was just to say that sometimes our words are being used to refer to non-concepts, to things in the world. Because I don't think Leophilius. I think that's or the person with a yellow shirt in Midnight Sparkle's stream, that means something, but I'm using it to refer to a non-concept, namely the person that is Leophilius.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm following you.
Yeah, so that's called.
Does this ruin the chances of using their experience of using bachelor as an unmarried man now, just like the 2 + 2 = 4 thing?
I don't think so, but I guess, Leo, maybe think of different languages, right? The idea there is that there's going to be the way that bachelor's a term, and then bachelor in Spanish is going to be actually a different term, right? Mm-hmm. But they're being they had the same they're being used in the same way, namely to refer to this concept. And so when we say whether they have the same, if they're the same sense, like the same sense of the term, we're asking if they mean the same thing or they're being used in the same way. That if it's analytic there, then that's just going to be traditionally a law of that's just basically an expression of the law of identity. And if you think that the law of identity is a tautology, meaning it's true in all worlds, then you're going to think it's necessarily true. So there's not going to be a hypothetical in which that's not the case.
Okay, so what you're saying is just it's conceptual, like that. If it's false, then there's just not. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. All right, yeah, that makes sense. Because I was thinking about the other day, like, because I was like, a bachelor being an unmarried man, as I understand it, that's something that most would consider necessarily true. But couldn't we conceive of a world where that's not what? But I get what you're saying.
yeah, we can conceive of a world where we're using different terms, right? But when we say that a bachelor is an unmarried man, I don't think I think there's like an idea behind it, behind the terms. We're really talking about concepts, and we're using language to track our concepts.
Yeah, I gotcha.
There's like this notion of I kind of use it often. Kant was talks about concept containment. So if you have the concept of bachelor that contains the concept of bachelor and married man, and the second that it doesn't, we're just talking about a different concept altogether.
And by the way, Danny, can you say Kant's full name, please?
Immanuel Kant.
One more time.
Immanuel Kant.
Immanuel Kant.
Is that how
Immanuel Kant?
Immanuel Kant.
Immanuel Kant.
Not Emmanuel. Immanuel.
Emmanuel.
I don't give a fuck.
Immanuel Kant.
Okay.
I genuinely do not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Whatever. Immutable.
You
Say
know,
to me, immutable.
how do you pronounce Euler?
Euler.
You're sure it's not Euler?
Yes, I am.
Really?
Sokka asked, should we call a male child a bachelor? Well,
Are they married?
But usually we say unmarried man. We don't think of unmarried male. We don't.
Okay.
Right, an unmarried child.
So I have a question. No, hold on here. Then this is actually a serious question. Is a transgender man who is unmarried, Danny, a bachelor? No, it's serious.
Go ahead and fucking go there.
I'm being serious because Danny is good at philosophy. I want to know what his opinion on that is. Whether he thinks that complicates things or whether they identify as man and they're unmarried, they would be a bachelor.
Now that gets into
so
what
I want to know.
Man is.
So go ahead, Danny.
Quiet. Welcome, Sokka.
Yeah,
hey, how you guys doing?
You're asking. Basically, the question is, what are the necessary and sufficient conditions for man? And that's a difficult question. But I'm fine with saying that a transgender man is a man. So yes.
If they're unmarried, then they're a bachelor.
They would be a bachelor, yeah.
Okay.
Because I think that the interesting thing with the whole unmarried man thing is I think the unmarried part is pretty cut and dry, but it's the man part. You know,
actually, the unmarried part's not cut and dry to me. That's not even cut and dry.
Oh, okay. Well, for the sake of this, okay, let's say that the man part. So because that has varying degrees by what we could be by that point, and we know that we wouldn't call a 12-year-old kid a bachelor, because there's an implicit kind of understanding of the term bachelor that when we talk about the eligibility of that person to marry in the first place.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's what I mean. Is is a bachelor really just an unmarried man, or is a bachelor an unmarried man with the implicit understanding that they also have to be eligible for marriage? And
I think with the kid thing, I just don't think that it's the case that we look at 12-year-olds as men.
I guess it depends on what you mean by man.
If you mean
matured male human, then I would agree. But if it just means male human, regardless of level of maturity, so that's probably just getting too deep into the weeds. I would think almost.
Yeah, I mean, I just take it to mean adult male. I don't really think.
Because when we use even in the Socrates example, all men are mortal. There's a different implication of the term men, and that's a syllogism compared to the all unmarried men are bachelors, right?
Right, that's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
By the way, Orson Lannister, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but if you want to be ballsy and confront me, bring your bitch ass in here and don't just whine from the side chat, which probably isn't going to mean anything because I'm going to be taken off here in a few minutes anyway. So.
Oh boy.
But you can bring your bitch ass in the chat if you want to be ballsy and confront me about things instead of sitting there and bitching and complaining from the side chat.
What particular stupid thing about Steve McRae is he going on about?
Who the fuck knows? People bring him up in the most random places for reasons I have no fucking I just don't know. If you want to know why I talk with Steve McRae, then you can confront me about it instead of bitching and complaining in a side chat.
Why do you talk to Steve McRae?
Well, are we in private?
Well, it's kind of been brought up, so I mean, Pandora's box has already been opened.
Well, I said if you want to know, you can consult me in private. This obviously isn't. This being live streamed to a public platform is not.
Okay, forget it.
I don't think it's important.
You want to go?
Neither do I.
Let's go
I
over
don't think it's important at all.
let's go over Scott's stuff, the proposition stuff. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Now, Richard Carey, a couple of years ago, I think it was as far back as 2017.
This comes from Richard Carrier.
Yeah.
That's why it has nothingly in it. Okay.
Right.
Nothingly.
I'm sorry, like, dude.
I know that's an interesting word. He's trying to emphasize the idea of nothing. But
well, I get it, because I mean you see this all the time, especially when you talk like a lot of Christians, when they talk about like absolute truth. I'm just like, really? Like how is absolute truth truthier than just regular truth?
It's more truthier. It's
I don't.
But okay,
it's heavier than heavy.
And his thesis was that, and this is in counter to the idea of from nothing comes. In other words, you can't get something from nothing. Which is a creation of the universe kind of argument point. And so he developed a thesis that basically, if you have the nothing that Christians are talking about, conceivably absolutely nothing, there's that word absolutely again, then a multiverse is inevitable. And so he developed it in 10 propositions or steps. And obviously I don't want to, can't even conceive of covering them all tonight, but I wanted to consider maybe the first 3 to see if they make any kind of good point, or if they seem sound. Because obviously the conclusion is going to be therefore, in the state of nothing, multiverse is inevitable. So the first proposition is that which is logically impossible can never exist or happen. Of course, why he's making
good with that. I think we're all good with that.
Everybody good with that?
That's fine.
Okay. The most nothingly state of nothing that can ever obtain is a state of affairs of zero size, lacking all properties and contents, except that which is logically necessary.
I reject that. Nothingness is not a state of affairs at all.
That is true.
Well, it's a very particular state of affair.
No, it's not. It's not a state of affairs at all. There is no state of affairs with nothing.
Okay, Leo, I need to comment on something. Please don't delete comments and chats. Just ignore them.
I didn't delete comments. What I did is timed out people that want to sit there and just troll and not contribute. Hey, look, if you don't want me to, that's fine. I won't. If you want people to just sit there and troll your hosts on your panel, in your chat, just destroying the stream and the chat, that's fine. I won't time them out, which personally I think should be done, but it's your channel. So all you got to do is tell me what to do, and I will do it, or tell me what not to do, and I will not do it. I'm being honest.
I'm just saying. Just ignore the chat and keep talking.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, because
I will leave you the fuck alone.
I do agree with Leo. Is that like you always fall into the problem of reification when you try to apply any type of states to literally no thing.
Okay.
Well, when we say no thing, right, there has to be a thing like which is lacked.
No,
right?
I would think that there is no state of affairs. There isn't some sort of there's a lack of any reference. There isn't something that is there but just lacks things. There is not anything there at all. At least that's how I understand it.
Okay, so the context of I think of why he's making this distinction here, or this particular pronouncement, is that you have the physics nothing, like in Lawrence Krauss.
That's not nothing. We don't need to make this distinction, because in physics that's just not nothing.
To
Physicists,
me, I guess,
like Lawrence Krauss, probably almost exclusively Lawrence Krauss, popularized that as a way of being able to say, oh, well, see, we don't need God because the universe came from nothing. No, it fucking didn't.
Okay.
Shut up.
How would you? What one word?
in fairness, it is a pop.
Well,
it is
I actually kind of disagree. I think that all state of affairs means is that which makes a proposition true in the world. At least in correspondence theory. So, for instance, something like there is a tree. The state of affairs of there being a tree makes the proposition there is a tree true. So if you say, if there is going to be a proposition that there's nothing, and there's going to be the way the world is such that that proposition is true, and that's all that state of affairs means.
What does it mean?
So that would just mean that the reference point for no thing is the actualized no thing, which
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's yeah. Kind. I think I'm
That
understanding
makes
you.
no sense because if
Well,
something's
then it would be a distinct
actualized, then it's
object.
not nothing. Yeah, it's not nothing.
Look, it's just the way the world is that there are no properties and no contents, and that makes the proposition true that there is nothing true. Right. Sorry.
Well,
That makes
I
the
would say that there wouldn't be truth. There are no sentences that you could call it true. There wouldn't be a world at all in a state of nothingness.
well,
which
according to
isn't even a
that's why
state.
Carrier. That's why Carrier probably said, "Except that which is logically necessary." But so he might. I don't. That's a little ambiguous of what he means there because It seems like he's saying that there are things that have properties and there's content. When we think of content, we think of propositions. Like the content of our belief is propositional. So he might think that they're propositions, but they're only going to be propositions that are sort of logically required. So, but I don't know. I could see what you're saying, Leo. I'm just saying that if we're interpreting the strongest way possible this proposition too, I think it's something like, hey, if there's a state of nothing, that's just say the world is in a way where there are no properties and there's no content except that which is logically necessary. That's all I read. Maybe I think that's the best interpretation of it.
Well, Leo, since you have a problem with Proposition 2, can you think of a one-word synonym for that phrase, a state of affairs of zero size, lacking all properties and contents, except that which
Nothingness.
is logically necessary? So what?
I would call it nothingness.
Okay, so it's nothingness, but not.
I would say.
Well,
what
he's trying to express, I would just call
Okay.
nothingness. But nothingness isn't some state of affairs that lacks like all possible properties. It's just no state of affairs and no properties at all.
I
It's
would
an
just say
empty-
it's a state which is void of all content.
But see, I don't. If it is a state, then it's not nothing because there is something there, and that something just lacks some set of particular properties. Even if that set is like complete, thereby it lacks all properties. But there's still a state that possesses that. That's not nothing.
Well, I'm not sure, like, because like with that one, because just because immutable is calling it a state, it doesn't that. I don't think that kind of commits a fallacy of reification. I think that, like, if you're using that state to describe an empty set, like, because an empty set would be the same thing as nothing. Like, you could still use
it's just a set which has no properties.
And me personally, and I know some mathematicians may disagree, but me personally, a set that has literally nothing in it isn't a set at all. There isn't a thing to form a set. We just call it a set for linguistic utility, I guess, but ultimately there is no set there in an actual nothingness. But that's just my opinion on that.
And the empty set conventionally is defined as a set which contains no objects.
Yeah, and if there is a set which contains no objects, then there isn't any objects to define the set, so you wouldn't have a set.
Is it logically necessary to have sets?
It depends on what you're doing.
The most logical way to do things in
even if it's
mathematics.
a set of nothing. I mean, what's the difference between a set with no properties or members or whatever, and nothing?
So the idea with set theory is kind of the moment you define a set, like a universe is born, like with respect
All right, my
to...
headphones are charged, guys. I'm gonna go rock out to some music, so I don't have to deal with idiotic trolls in the chat. They can hit me up on Twitter though if they want. Anyway, guys, enjoy the stream, everybody.
All right, see ya.
Thanks for having me on Midnight. You guys take care.
See you, Leo.
Bye.
By the way, just a quick message for everybody: don't feed the trolls. I fed the trolls like an idiot, but you know, I'm a dumbass, so you know. And apparently, I just love sucking Steve's off. But hey, I didn't even know I was gay. Anyway, I'm out of here. Peace out, everybody.
All right, see ya.
Apparently, I'm a super troll shitlord too. So like,
Wow.
I'm not sure where that came from, but I've been called worse. I just ignore people.
Okay, we have Nick Vaser here. Couldn't a set have a property of being able to have objects?
Well, sure, that happens all the time, right? I mean, sets can have objects, but they can also be empty, right? They can contain no things in them.
Well, I guess still, even if someone insists on, well, you might be able to put that into the category of that which is logically necessary. In order, you would still have nothing though. So,
Well, this is whether or not like the potentiality of an empty set would actually be a thing. Like that's the question. Like so, so if an empty set had potentiality, would it still be considered an empty set?
What do you mean by potentiality in this case? Like the potential to exist, or
the potential to no longer be to change from an empty set to a set with at least one thing.
Yeah, that would convolute things.
Okay, now Icarus said the type of an empty set is a set. You can perform set operations on it with other sets.
Right. I mean, if you define a set to be like whose only element contains the empty set, you can take, like, you can do operations with that set. For instance, like the power set of that set, and that set will contain the empty set and the set that contains the empty set.
Okay, now Icarus is making. Let's look at Proposition 3 as well. So, would you say Proposition 2 is what we've said about it is a defeater to carrier, or problematic to the point we'd have to unpack it more, or maybe rephrase it?
I think it's fine.
Okay. And Proposition 3 is if there was ever nothing, then nothing governs or dictates what will become of that nothing, other than what is logically necessary.
I feel like that's where the reification comes in.
Okay. Is there a way to reword this that kind of saves it, or?
Well, I mean, what would it mean if something could, like if a set of nothing could become not nothing? Right? How would that even occur?
Well, I think that could happen.
Well, wouldn't there have to be something like to logically act on?
No, you could have a random event.
Right, but what would that event be influencing?
I'm saying that you could have moment 1 where there's nothing, and moment 2 where there's something, and there not be a causal connection between each event.
Right, but you would say that there's a phase, like there's kind of like a phase transition between there being something and nothing. Like there's a first moment where a thing is created.
You're just telling me there's a succession? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that would. I logically it's possible. I just don't know how that type of thing would occur.
But you see the word "how," you're asking for like an explanation. But the notion of a random event says there is no explanation. This just happened.
Yeah, I guess in that case, like it would be a dispute on what nothing is referring to.
Well, he cleared it as the state in which there are no objects, or there are no. He could. I mean, I think that.
Yeah, then I would have to reject his definition of nothing, because I would have to, for me at least, I would have to see it as like there being at least some objects existing, but those objects like not having a specific property or something like that.
Well, objects are made of properties. With no properties, you just have nothing.
Well, an object can have a property of having 0 of something, right?
That's like saying it has the property of nothingness.
Yeah, it has a property, like it contains like some null property, like 0 mass, 0 velocity, whatever.
That's like sort of what. That's like saying that there's something because there's nothing.
What do you mean?
If you say that something has the property of 0, whatever, or nothingness, and then saying that establishes there's something or some object, then that's just like that's translated to there is something because there is nothing, which is just a contradiction.
Yeah, I guess so. That's fair enough.
Okay, so still we haven't really found any defeaters or things to run back to the drawing board about.
I don't know. The Proposition 2 I still have a problem with, because within Proposition 2, even by saying that the only thing that can exist in the state of nothing is those things that are logically necessary, is just basically saying, well, that it's a set of things that are logically necessary now.
Yeah, but he's going to be fine. He's saying that apart from that which is logically necessary. There are not going to be any other properties or contents to the world. That I don't.
I think Carrier's okay with there being a set of that which is logically necessary.
Right,
but
but then what he's done is he's defined like you can take nothing right out of there, and you can basically just say that the set contains all that is logically necessary.
Okay, yeah.
He doesn't have to call it nothing. Like what he's talking about is a state of affairs.
You're just disputing term. This is a semantic dispute, right? All he means is that all there is the set of that which is logically necessary. There's nothing other than that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and that's fine. Like if you want to go the way, but like using nothing in that term, I think kind of confuses it. Like in that proposition.
But he clarifies that in Proposition 2. He clarifies that.
Like clarify, just okay. I just think that it's meaningless to have talk about the nothingly state of nothing when he just talked about the.
I don't see any prima facie conceptual problem, Scott, with Proposition 2. I think I know what he means.
So, and then we covered if there was ever nothing, then nothing governs or dictates what will become of.
Well, that's just weird. Proposition 3 is where it gets into weird territory.
Maybe he should say if there was ever a nothing, then there are no governing principles or dictates.
What I would understand. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
What I would understand how I would interpret the strongest version of Proposition 3 is that nothing has there are no causal relations of given that so the way I would understand this is that the set of that which is logically necessary is not going to be a set of concrete objects, which is to say objects that engage in causal relations, which means that there are no states in which can engage in causal relations. That's to say that if there can't be any kind of effect given that there's nothing, right? There can only be a new event with that wouldn't count as an effect, meaning effect implying that there's some prior cause.
Well, I mean, just go back to like the challenge that I put forward for Proposition 2, which was saying that like I don't think he needs what he's doing is he's defining nothing as a state that is of the things that are logically necessary. So when you move to Proposition 3, where he uses the term nothing, you can just talk about the things that are logically necessary. So then the whole thing is if there was ever a state of things that are I lost it there.
Sorry. Yeah.
If there was ever a state of things that are logically necessary, then nothing governs or dictates what will become of that of the things that are logically necessary, other than that which is logically necessary.
No, that's not what he's saying.
I mean that's how I'm seeing it, because like I said, like the second premise is like the state of nothing he's talking about is just pretty much a set of things that are logically necessary. I don't understand.
That's not. Look, he's talking about everything that isn't conceptual. There's nothing other than that which is logically necessary. So he's referring to those lack of properties, I suppose, right? So there's going to be something tricky with Proposition 2 insofar as that if he thinks that there's no time. But so I don't know if he's saying that there's no time.
Can you move to number 3, please? We've been on 2 forever.
Yeah, well, I think Saka was trying to he was talking about number 3 with respect to number 2. I would wonder whether he thinks time is conceptually necessary.
Scott, how many premises are here?
We're not. I have no intention of going over 10 of. There's 10 of them, but I just wanted to get some start on how to think about these. I just seem to lack the vocabulary and maybe the background knowledge and context to be able to kind of sift through these myself. So yeah, I'm perfectly willing to move on. And what I wanted to do was take some of the comments in the side chat and just put them in a notebook or whatever, notepad, and just think about it. I want to reserve some time to think about this week.
Oh, and Immutable Destiny left. He's the one who suggested I have the stream, and he left.
It has been an hour, but I guess Scott, for Proposition 3, he's just saying that there can't be any effects prior to a state of it's kind of like subsequent to a state of nothing, like in the way that he's describing. I think that's how I would understand Proposition 3.
Now, I like, I think Tyler in the side chat, it's kind of getting at what Carrier's getting at anyway. A nothing will inevitably spontaneously actualize a something by virtue of the lack of constraints inherent to a nothing.
Yeah, that seems a little bit confused to me.
Yeah,
Um,
you're not the only one. Maybe I'm just fucking tired. But what?
Oh, you definitely don't want to think about this when you're tired.
I don't think that makes sense because the state of nothing doesn't predict any event in which there's something that begins to exist that does stand in causal relations. So in other words, if you have a state of nothing, there could be a world in which a new event begins to or something begins to exist, and then you could also have a possible world in which nothing begins to exist. And to me, that these from a state of nothing, either of these are just as I guess I'm going to use this word probable, given that the state of nothing doesn't predict a random event.
Yeah,
Does that make sense, Scott?
it does. And
Okay.
I'm going to have to go back and rerun the video once it. You're not going to delete this video immediately, are you, Midnight?
Well, I think that's it is an interesting point because like the whole idea, like William Lane Craig puts out the whole like ex nihilo.
I have.
Oh, sorry, man.
Well, no, I just wanted to say I have no reason to delete it, Scott.
Okay. Well, then I can go back and replay it and just kind of.
He has no reason. He has no reason to delete it, so he might randomly delete it.
He might randomly, without cause and without effect. except I'll get pissed, and then that's an effect.
Okay, or I might randomly remove everybody from the stream and end it now.
Yes, you have the power, Midnight. The power is yours.
Well, thanks for the invite, Midnight. Before you kick me,
I'm not kicking you. I'm kidding.
No, I gotta go. I gotta go
Abort.
get dinner ready for the kids. But it was good talking to you guys. I've actually been deployed for the last 450 days out of the last like 2 years. So
Wow.
I haven't been around a lot. But I'm just kind of like checking things out once. So I was surprised to see my notification pop up with you having a stream because I wasn't sure if you were still doing streams or not. So
yeah, once in a while, I figured, what the hell, I'll go live.
Wasn't it nice to be able to just get onto a live stream and talk about nothing?
Yeah. Story of my life.
I see what you did there.
That's pretty good.
I see what you did there.
Spoken like a true philosopher, Scott.
Oh no!
All right, anyway, I'm gone. Thank you guys very much.
Jesus Christ, are you torturing your kids back there? What the fuck is going
That's
on?
my daughter's singing and she has a beautiful voice. Thank you very much.
No, it sounds like I didn't mean to imply anything. It's just it sounds like a fucking I don't know. You know what?
They all came downstairs. They're all just outside my office now, and so it's like they're rambunctious. They're hungry. I need to go feed them.
Yep.
That and if I didn't have my children screaming in the background with Tyler Burton in the outside chat, he'd be disappointed because I know how much he loves it.
Scott.
Sir.
Yeah, this is really. I'm glad that you're interested in this stuff. It's interesting stuff to me.
Yeah, like I said, it's been buzzing around in my head ever since I first read it, but I've just never. It just seems too easy, and
I think Danny. I think Danny's getting a little bit sentimental.
Yeah.
Sentimental. Why are you getting sentimental?
My Scott is growing up.
Oh yeah. Just,
Also, Scott, what the hell's wrong with your dog? Go feed him or something.
I think maybe sees the shadow of a cat's tail outside, and she has to tell me about it. She's a real good. I guess she's a real good guard dog in the way how security guards at malls are only supposed to observe and report.
Yeah,
not do anything about it. She's an observer, and she has to report it back to me. And so she gets these whiny.
Honestly, all the cool people are gone.
Scott, did you see that I'm debating that NYC Just Pray guy again? I don't know if you saw that video.
I don't know who the fuck. I don't know who the fuck Jason's wet brain is, but Jesus.
what venue did you debate him on before?
You know Dore Love's channel? Do you know do you know who I'm talking about by chance?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay, you should watch this video. It's not that maybe I think it's the kind of thing you'd like. So I'm not telling you just to watch it because I'm in it.
Okay.
So
Oh no! He completely is. He completely is telling you just to watch it because he's in it. Don't lie.
well, it's a conjunction.
Okay, so tell me again the channel.
Okay, well, I'll send you the link.
Okay.
But this is the original video that I had with him. He kind of got destroyed, and then this is the let's see, it's Just Pray Love. He has 10,000 subscribers, which is and they're all Christians. So
Just as many as Guts It Given now has.
I know, right?
It's amazing.
Okay, here's the that's what the channel that it's on. This is the specific video. But
Okay.
look how he look. I look like a
Well,
psycho.
Scott, you better save those links.
I look like a psycho in that video.
You are a psycho.
Okay, I'm gonna put this in my playlist. And
Do you see the thumbnail?
yeah, well, you look kind of like squeezed a little.
Yeah, I look like a psycho, but I'm fine with it. I think it's kind of funny.
And then
You're funny.
What's all? That's the channel. I look forward to watching it.
I love these sock accounts.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and close my prop. Do y'all want to keep talking about this or go on?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm bored about it.
Okay.
I think it's interesting. So maybe later, Scott.
Yeah, I'm just, it's like a fire.
I
hose
don't know.
for me.
I'm just not in the mood tonight. I had a stream because Meetup wanted to have it, but I'm like, you know what? People want to talk. Sure,
All right, guys. Then I will take my leave as well.
Okay. Well, guys, it was a great discussion.
Don't come back. Don't come back ever again, Danny.
Check.
Are you going to do an outro, Midnight?
Oh, right. Yeah. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for thanks to Saka for jumping on and giving his input.
Yeah, I was really glad he came on. He gave some
interrupted me during my outro. Nice, Scott.
Oh man, you're right. I did. I tell you what. I'm going to boot myself to the.
No, don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. Anyways, thanks for coming by. I may have more streams later. I may not. I don't fucking know. Goodbye.
So there's no backstage. We're just out.
Well, no, there is a backstage. Just let me end the stream.
Okay.
Bye.